Good morning. My name is Michael Williamson, President and CEO of United Way of Southeast Louisiana, and welcome to our August UWSELA investor call. We're glad to have you with us, and today we're going to be sharing more great news about how we're working to leverage your generosity to make a difference in our community. Let me start by making a couple of really awesome announcements. First, I'd like to let everyone know that Mary Ambrose, our Chief Impact Officer, has been nominated and accepted into the United Way Worldwide Leaders Engaged in Accelerated Development Program, which is an amazing opportunity for Mary to engage with other leaders across our network, but also kind of hone and sharpen her leadership skills so that she can continue to grow and evolve as a leader. And we're so excited that this is a competitive process, and we nominated Mary, and we're so excited that she's going to be joining that program, and can't wait to see what she learns and what she shares with us as she goes through that process. So I know you'll hear from Mary in a little bit, but just want to congratulate Mary, our Chief Impact Officer, for this great announcement. So shout out to Mary.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. Also, too, we're super excited that Kathy McCrae, who's been a longtime United Way board member and volunteer and instrumental in our Women United Women's Affinity Group, it was recently nominated and elected to serve on United Way Worldwide, and I said United Way Worldwide, Women United Global Leadership Council. For those of you that don't know Kathy, outside of her stellar career in supporting United Way, she was an executive with Shell for a number of years and had risen to some of the top ranks at Shell, and has been an amazing advocate for United Way, and specifically around issues affecting women and children. So we're excited about Kathy McCrae and her opportunity to represent our community, our region, and quite frankly, our country as she joins the Women United Global Leadership Council. So if you do know Kathy, send her a quick note of congratulations. We'll be sending out more information about this honor that she's received, and look forward to her service on the Women United Global Leadership Council. So congrats to Kathy, and congrats to Mary as well. Both great examples of leaders, women leaders especially, within our movement, are doing great things for our community. Now I'd like to turn it over to Bob Kimbrough, who's our board chair, who just took over in July, to share a little bit of his thoughts. Bob.
Yeah, thank you, Michael, and good morning, everybody. And before I get started, I just want to add my congratulations, and also on behalf of the board of trustees, to Mary and Kathy for those two great recognitions and awards and that they've received, and look forward to their continuing support and working with all of us at United Way. And also want to thank all of our stakeholders and investors who are participating on the call this morning, and those who have not been able to dial in yet, but we just want to thank you for your support. Without you, we certainly couldn't do it. As you know, we've got a blueprint for prosperity, which is the eradication of poverty, and we need everybody working together in order to achieve that. And it's certainly a tall goal. It's a hard goal to reach, but we're committed to do it. And I want to tell you on behalf of the board, and it's certainly my pleasure to serve as the board chair, I want to tell you that the board of trustees for United Way is working hard towards achieving our goal of eradication of poverty. But once again, we certainly cannot do it without your support. And it's also, just wanted to recognize those board chairs who preceded me. I've been on the board of trustees for this is going in my fourth year, but I want to thank Todd Slack and Charles Rice and Rick Haas most recently, who have been our past board chairs. And it's been my privilege to watch them and see how they've assumed the leadership position of the board. And we certainly have learned, taken some good notes from them. They're outstanding business leaders, but also outstanding community leaders, as all of our board members are, and certainly look forward to the challenges and the opportunities that we have ahead. And this morning, as you heard from Michael, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the things that we're working on. We're very excited about the opportunities that lay ahead of us in our goal to eradicate poverty. And but as I said, it takes the support of all of us, and some of that support is needed in terms of financing, and obviously to support the many needed programs that we continue to fund, the collaboratives that we work with to work on the fight against poverty. And it's my pleasure to have served as the campaign chair 2 years ago and worked with Lee Thorpe. And Lee is on the staff at United Way, and I'm sure you've heard from her before, but she does an outstanding job in leading each year's campaign, and just does a wonderful job. And Lee, look forward to working with you again this year. But I'd like to turn it over to you to let you talk a little bit about this year's campaign, and more importantly, the new leader that we've got is our campaign chair. So, Lee, I'll turn it over to you. And thanks once again for everybody for your participation. Look forward to working with you over this next year.
Thank you so much, Bob. It was obviously such a pleasure to work with you as our campaign chair 2 years ago, and we're so excited to have you as our board chair to keep beating the drum for the need for resources in our community to make all of this blueprint work. So we have a very aggressive goal again this year, as we always do, of reaching our $11.9 million goal to fund programs, collaboratives, initiatives, volunteerism, and advocacy that all work towards with our blueprint to eradicate poverty. We cannot do this work alone. We are very excited about engaging the residents, individuals, business leaders, volunteers in our 7th parish area to help us reach this goal. And we're very excited that we have this year, under the chairmanship of Roger Ogden, a really great opportunity to reach more and more people in our community. So Roger has been generous enough to assemble a campaign cabinet of 30 members of our business and community leaders to help us with this audacious goal. And we want to encourage any members of the community that are interested in helping us out to reach out to us. And you can visit our website on the campaign headquarters website to see more about helping with this fight. So we have had lots of opportunities to get engaged already this summer in our work, and we have even more coming up. I just want to highlight a few of the opportunities we've had. We're trying to reach out to every individual across our 7th parish region in the different demographics in which people are interested in getting involved. On July 13th, we hosted the inaugural retirement party at the New Orleans Fairgrounds for our Retire United group, which is retirees and soon-to-be retirees that want to stay involved with the United Way through volunteerism and enrichment. We had over 60 individuals join us at the fairgrounds. We were fortunate enough to have the Meyer Group of Merrill Lynch serve as our presenting sponsor, and Sally Ann Roberts serve as our MC. She was incredible, and it was very encouraging to have Sally Ann's support of all the work that we're doing. Volunteers such as Kathy and Mark McCrae, who you heard about before, from retirees from Shell, Mark Ricard from Folgers, and Lyle Terrio from North Shore Hospital were all on point to help with a retirement fashion show, as well as our friends with Strive NOLA were able to join the fashion show and talk a little bit about the work that we're doing with Strive and the incredible workforce development program that they're involved with. So if anyone on this call is interested in Retire United, please go to our website and learn more about that. We also had 2 incredible events in St. Tammany Parish this Monday, July 30th and Monday, August 6th. July 30th at St. Scholastica in Covington, and August 6th at the Slidell Municipal Auditorium, we held our annual East and West St. Tammany Red Beans and Rice Cook-Off. We had more than 40 teams participate in a Red Beans and Rice Cook-Off and hundreds of attendees, and it was just a really great opportunity to, in a social atmosphere, engage people in St. Tammany Parish and around the region in the work of United Way. We want to do a huge thanks to Loop, to Keesler Federal Credit Union, Slidell Memorial Hospital for serving as presenting sponsors of these events. And we couldn't do this work without the strong partnerships of our co-hosts, Camellia Beans, St. Tammany Parish Fire Districts 1, 4, and 12, St. Tammany Parish Government, Slidell Police Department, and the Covington Fire Department. For a listing of all winners, you can go to our website. We had lots of winners and lots of categories. And it was a great 2 days to celebrate the work of United Way. On Saturday, August 4th, we hosted a Day of Action in Tangipahoa Parish at Greenville Park Leadership Academy, where more than 50 children and adults came out to beautify the school, painting the walls and decorating bulletin boards in preparation for the teachers' return the next Monday to school. And it was a beautiful day. Despite the rain, it's a beautiful day inside to be with all these wonderful volunteers. And we want to thank our volunteers, especially from Entergy, Loop, and the Tangipahoa school system for coming out, as well as the many students who participated. There's a Facebook Live video that you can watch on our Facebook page at UWSELA. We do have 2 upcoming events for the kickoff of our campaign that we want to make sure everyone knows about. One is our 2 ECC, which is our Employee Campaign Coordinator Thank You event. one on the North Shore and one on the South Shore. We can't do our work to raise money and eradicate poverty without the campaign coordinators at our workplaces. And so we want to have a special event to thank all of those campaign coordinators and also let them know about the upcoming year. The first event is this Thursday, August 16th at Morton's Steakhouse at the foot of Canal Street, and this Friday, August 17th at Don's Seafood in Covington. Huge thanks to Morton's and Don's for being such generous hosts and presenting these events to us. And they're both from 11:30 to 1 p.m. We still have a few seats left. Please feel free to contact your United Way campaign manager if you're a campaign coordinator and would like to attend. The last event I want to talk about is our Women United Passing of the Gavel annual event, actually biannual event. It's going to be this Thursday, August 30th. In celebration of New Orleans Tricentennial, we're celebrating Louisiana Women Leaders of Change at the Hyatt Regency. It's going to be an incredible luncheon where we're not only going to be passing the gavel from our 2016-2018 Women United Chair, Kathy McCray, to our 2018-2020 Chair, Alexis Tucker, but we're going to have a panel discussion with the incredible leaders in our community, Sybil Morial, Helena Moreno, Sheba Turk, and Susan Spicer, to talk about the role that women have played in our community over the last 300 years. Tables and tickets are still available, and we hope you'll visit our website for more information. And I know we have a lot of events going on, but we hope that there's some that you'll be able to participate in the coming months and weeks. And with that, I'll pass it on to Jameen Dahmer, who's overseeing all of our incredible long-term recovery work.
Thank you, Lee. I'm so happy to be able to talk every once in a while and give you these great updates on the continued work around long-term recovery as it relates to the floods of 2016. And it's kind of hard to believe, but this month is actually 2 years since the August floods. We obviously had the March floods just a few months prior to that, but we've made a commitment to not only being here before and during these catastrophic events, but afterwards. And so we've been there. So I want to tell you some exciting news and give you some numbers that lets you know where we are with our investments. We've actually invested over $1.56 million so far in recovery, and that in itself is just phenomenal. But we haven't done it alone. We've been working with a lot of long-term recovery organizations. We've got the Tangelina Group, we've got Epworth and NDRI that represent St. Tammany and Washington Parish, the Red Cross, the Fuller Center, Catholic Charities in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. So we've been able to collaborate with many organizations and bring them around the table to make some fantastic impact. What I would like to say is that your United Way, because of the work that we've been doing, have actually worked with 233 families to help provide them recovery services. That in itself, I can't even tell you how excited I am. I think we initially set a goal to try to impact 80 families, so we just smashed that. So I'm really happy with that. We worked with case managers, and to let you know, those 233 families, we actually, other than those 233 that received rebuilding and recovery service, we actually had 330 families that received total services. Some of those people received mental health counseling, furniture. It represents about 626 individuals that we've been able to impact. And what does that mean overall? So overall, during our long-term recovery work, we have engaged 3,977 volunteers, bringing more than 49,000 hours of voluntary service, and that's a value of over $1.2 million in donated services to those 233 families that so desperately needed our help. And so I just want to say thank you for everybody that's out there and listening. Your continued support of the work around these works that we do to try to get our families back in their homes is so much appreciated. I want to tell you before I leave and hand it over to Mary Ambrose that please check out our video that's now posted on our website, because it's got fantastic stories, not only about all the work we're doing, but one of the stories you can hear about the Mirandas and their story about the flood. Bunny Lee and Joaquin, they felt hopeless. Their home flooded. They actually survived for 3 days floating in a boat that was tied to their front porch. And then they were rescued. So you can hear their story and more. So thank you for all the work. And I'll hopefully we'll be able to tell you in the next few months about more families that we've been able to assist. So Mary, I'd like to hand it over to you. Mary's our Chief Community Impact Officer that can give you a great update on what Community Impact's doing.
Good morning. Good morning. I am so excited this morning. There's so many great things happening at United Way, but I want to recognize two of Community Impact's best and brightest. Congratulations are in order to Tap Bowie, our VP for Health and Fund Distribution, for her acceptance into the 2019 New Orleans Regional Leadership Institute. Congratulations, Tap. I'm so proud of you. Also, congratulations to Todd Baptiste, our Senior Vice President for Education and Equity, has been selected to chair the Greater New Orleans Funders Network Education Table. So great things are happening in community impact. And it's just truly a pleasure to work with Tap and Todd and see every day their commitment to this community. So congratulations to both of them.
Thank you, Mary.
So now on to an update on, you're welcome, update on the Louisiana Prisoner Reentry Initiative. The LAPRI's goal is to decrease the recidivism rate by 50% among medium to high risk individuals returning from prison. With the Justice Reinvestment Act, Louisiana is decreasing the prison population and releasing prisoners back into their communities. The first wave of prisoners was released in November of 2017. And with the savings from the releases, the Department of Corrections has put out an RFP to grant out $2.6 million in savings to community organizations in the top 5 Tier 1 parishes. And those 5 parishes are Orleans, Jefferson, Tammany, East Baton Rouge, and Cato parishes. These parishes have the most returning citizens, so that's why they're the Tier 1 parishes. The funds are to address the barriers returning citizens face to become productive contributing citizens. So specifically around employment, housing, transportation, mental health, and substance abuse treatment. United Way is serving as intermediary for Jefferson and Tammany parishes, and we are going to offer a $125,000 match to draw down at least $500,000 for those parishes. So we are excited to serve as intermediary, but we're also excited to report that there's another funder that we're working with that may also be offering match funding. At this time, we have contracted with La Prista to provide technical assistance to both Tammany and Jefferson Parish steering committees to help them write their grants. The RFP is due to the Department of Corrections on August 23rd, 2018. All RFPs must be hand-delivered to the department. So we're on the move. We're working hard to try and get those applications done and ready, and good luck to all the parishes that are trying to put together that RFP. I also want to talk about the LAPRI Ready for Work initiative. I've talked about it before. This initiative, it works to address the workforce barriers many returning citizens face through a $25,000 planning grant from the Greater New Orleans Foundation, New Orleans Works Collaborative. We have been able to begin planning to implement the Ready for Work model. The model is employer-driven, evidence-based, and an integrated service delivery model. So it calls for us to connect with employers to prepare and educate them to hire returning citizens and identify the support potential employers need, including incentives. Also, it prepares prisoners prior to release for employment, including job training, work habits, and other identified needs. It ensures returning citizens have the necessary resources in place when they participate in the work release programs. And we work with employers and returning citizens upon release of prison. So ensuring that community members and community-based services act as intermediaries between employers and job-seeking individuals who are incarcerated. So the planning table includes the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, our workforce partners, New Orleans Business Alliance, Economic Opportunity, and 2 of 5 opportunity centers, Strive and Total Community Action Agency, Project Restart, and the United Way J. Wayne Leonard Prosperity Center. We have identified the assets, the barriers, the gaps in service to support returning citizens seeking employment, However, we are seeking employers to sit with us and share with us the barriers to hiring returning citizens. We have a planning session with employers on August 24th from 10 to 4 here at United Way. And if you are, if there's any employers on the call, we would love to have you join us. So you can reach out to me at my email, marya@unitedwaysela.org, or call me at 504-827-6859. We would love to have you at the table as we work to really start identifying the barriers to hiring ex-offenders. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Tap Bowie to just tell you about our grant process and our ALICE report. Tap.
Thank you, Mary. We are excited to say that we have approved and moved into the 2018-2019 funding year at United Way Southeast Louisiana. We are currently funding 69 programs across 51 agencies. We have also approved continued funding for 7 collaborations, which are all moving into their second year of commitment. These investments would not have been possible without you. This year also marks the end of a 3-year funding commitment for programs. With that said, we will be rolling out the next grant process in the late fall of this year. So please sign up for announcements and e-newsletters on our website and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more updates. United Way of Southeast Louisiana will also be releasing the next updated edition of the ALICE report. ALICE, which is Asset Limited, Income Constrained Employee, compiles comprehensive data and raises awareness about a huge but hidden community that is struggling to afford basic necessities. Again, please be sure to follow us on our website and social media accounts for more information. I will now turn it over to Mr. Todd Teets for updates on our education and equity work.
Good morning. Thank you, Tap. I'm pleased to report that 5 years ago, your United Way embarked on a journey to determine its relevance in the 7 parishes that we work. We held a series of community conversations. We had hundreds of thought partners to come out to help us identify the big issue, which was poverty. As a result, UWSELA was able to co-develop our Blueprint for Prosperity. The Blueprint for Prosperity focuses on 4 main outcomes: stability today, prosperity tomorrow, personal wellness, and vibrant communities. Embedded in that, we have what we called our guiding principles, which looks at connectivity, equity, lived experience, long-term commitment, shared responsibility, and systems-level change. The blueprint also identifies specific indicators that measures poverty outcomes. However, the blueprint lacked indicators that allow United Way to assess equity within its organization or our collaboratives. Our goal is to have equity indicators included in our blueprint for the 2019 grant process, because we recognize that equity has to start internally in order to hold others accountable. We looked internally, and we're working with Dr. Toya Barnes-Teamer with HTM Strategies to conduct interviews with staff and leadership to help facilitate how we move forward internally. She's conducted meetings with our agencies also on both the North Shore and the South Shore, and conducted surveys with those that participated. And we also work with our Board of Trustees. Because we want to be more intentional about addressing equity, diversity, and inclusion, we're working with HCM and other stakeholders to ensure that this occurs for long-term sustainability. I'm excited to announce that we'll be hosting a series of trainings for our United Way staff starting tomorrow. And we have equity meetings with all our United Way partners on Thursday, August 23rd, from 9 to 11 on the North Shore, and from 1 to 3 p.m. here at United Way on 2515 Canal Street. This is exciting work for us as we move forward to make certain that there's equity within everything that United Way does. I'm also going to give you some exciting news about our New Orleans campaign for grade level reading. This is a joint effort that we are partnering with the Institute for Mental Hygiene. And our vision is to ensure that all students in New Orleans read at grade level by the end of 3rd grade. We launched this effort in 2017, focusing on 3 areas: school readiness, attendance, and summer learning. This year, the campaign identified advocacy as a key strategy to improving school readiness and decreasing summer learning loss. because less than 20% of low-income young children birth to age 3 in New Orleans has access to publicly funded early care and education programs. The campaign was recognized at the national level as a bright spot. This gave United Way the opportunity to be recognized across the country as one of those innovative campaigns. The Bright Spot highlights innovative approaches and promising strategies for achieving bigger outcomes in school readiness, school attendance, summer learning, and grade level reading. This United Way is on the forefront of making things happen. I'll turn it over to Michael, our president and CEO.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. And to our listeners, our donors, our advocates, and volunteers, I hope you're as proud as I am of all the work that's been accomplished, largely in part due to your generosity. So we can't thank you enough. And to the team that you heard from today, best in class. And so you've heard some of the recognitions and honors that they've received. I hope also, too, that outside of United Way being viewed as a fundraising organization and the importance of that to drive the resources of the work we do, I hope you also know, and if you've ever watched our video, you'll see that we're not just fundraisers. We consider ourselves the hand raisers. So we're out here on your behalf doing the best we can to make our community a better place and working to address the bigger issue of poverty and do everything we can to eradicate it in the lives of so many folks in our region. I invite you a couple of invitations. One is, if you'd like to learn more, if you're not connected with us now, I encourage you to give, advocate, volunteer, or connect, and you can learn more at our website. And also today, around noon, I believe, I'm going to have a chance on our Mic'd Up show that I host to have an opportunity to talk to a few of our AmeriCorps visitor workers that are here working with Hands-On United Way, Hands-On Volunteer Center, to talk about what drove them to get back and get so engaged in our community. So we're excited. So join us on Facebook Live today about noon during your lunch break. Hopefully it'll be entertaining. But all that said, we truly appreciate your support. We couldn't do this work without you. And if you ever have a question or want to get more engaged, look us up at UnitedWaySELA.org. And I encourage you to follow us in social media with using the hashtag @UnitedWaySELA. Thanks again for your support, and we look forward to hearing from you next month.